It is yet another warm welcome to you viewers as we meet on this episode of Crime Watch. This is a program brought to you by your police service, the Zimbabwe Republic Police, to inform you on our roles and operations. My name is Onesisa Sibanda, with Victor Kanyaofo on the sign language desk. It is good to have you along. We start this week's episode with an arrest of a 24-year-old serial robber by police in Marondera.
On the 26th January 2020 at around the 2000 hours, we received a tip-off from the informers with the effect that God knows Chandoana, a male adult aged 24 years of Tengwe Street, Marondera, who was on the run for a long time after committing a series of robbery and theft cases, was seen around Marondera, Nyamen shops. We teamed up with other officers and proceeded to Nyamen area, where we managed to arrest the suspect and brought him to Marondera Central Police Station. We made some further investigations and managed to clear 2 robbery cases and 2 theft cases. He appeared before Marondera Magistrate at Marondera Magistrate Court, where he admitted all the charges and the same was remanded in custody.
Following an anti-stock theft campaign in Mashonaland East Province conducted by ZRP National Anti-Stock Theft Unit recently, police in Marondera have arrested a self-styled prophet in connection with stock theft cases and recovered 31 goats.
On 6 February 2020 at around 4 a.m., police officers from ZRP Goromonzi were manning a roadblock along Goromonzi Road. They became suspicious when they saw a suspect by the name Rayton Magaisa, age 36, of Baines Hope Farm, Goromonzi, carrying a goat on his shoulder. They interviewed him, but he failed to give a satisfactory answer. They brought the suspect to the police station for further investigations. The suspect revealed that he committed the crime with the co-accused Krairo Katsam. This led to the recovery of 31 goats, and so far 8 cases were cleared.
Kudawo kutenda mapurisa epa Goromonzi vakandifonera vachiti yamone mbudzi dziri kuno kudzatari cover. Saka ndakasvika ndakaona mbudzi dzangu dzese dziripo dziri 5. Saka dzo pangabadira ngatori danga rese rangarabiwa ende ndo dzandachitoti wo ndo ufumi hwangu wandinawo.
We are appealing to the members of the public to formulate anti-stock theft committees, reporting stock theft cases early, as well as reporting any suspicious persons within their locality.
As we move on, the following people have been arrested, convicted and given varying sentences by the courts as follows. Mpati Sisibanda, aged 18, has been convicted and sentenced to 7 years imprisonment after he fatally struck Makosini Siziba, aged 22, once on the head with a brick in Bulawayo. In another case, one accused person, a 13-year-old, was convicted and sentenced to 5 years imprisonment at Bindura Regional Court after he raped his 4-year-old niece. In a similar case, Shadrach Musariri, aged 51, was also convicted and sentenced to 20 years imprisonment at Chivu Regional Court for rape. Members of the public are reminded that crime does not pay and has consequences. Police continues with the nationwide operation codenamed Zero Tolerance to Market-Wielding Gangs and Chikorokoza Ngachipere. This operation saw police in Mashonaland East arresting 240 people for various offences recently.
Zimbabwe Republic Police is currently involved in a national operation codenamed Zero Tolerance to Market-Wielding Gangs and Chikorokoza. The operation involves various departments of the police service. Apparently, in the early hours of 16 February 2020, a team was in Makah area where they rounded up an illegal gold panning site. They managed to arrest about 240 people. The people were screened, and among them were 40 vendors who were made to pay fines. The rest are yet to appear in court. Following the arrest of the suspect, various equipment was recovered that include hammer mills, generators, picks and shovels. We would like to take this opportunity to to warn members of the public to desist from engaging in illegal gold panning activities or any other vices. Anyone who will be found on site will be arrested, and any equipment found on site will be confiscated.
To intensify the fight against machete-wielding gang attacks, as well as robbery cases, 3 police districts in Mashonaland East Province have issued a prohibition order against the carrying of dangerous weapons such as axes, machetes, catapults, amongst others.
Regulating authorities in Mashonaland East Province has of late invoked Section 4(1) of the Maintenance of Peace and Order Act, Chapter 11.23, where such dangerous weapons such as knob carries, daggers, machetes, knives and catapults are prohibited to be carried in any public place. There will be some operations that are being run by the police where these dangerous weapons will be looked for, and anyone who is found in possession of such weapons shall be liable to a jail term or a fine.
We take a short break. Join us in a moment. We are in the second segment. Our Crime Watch crew was in Manicaland and covered the following stories.
Lately, there has been a disturbing trend of persons who are into illegal cultivation of dagga. Police in Rusape have arrested a 41-year-old man for illegally cultivating marijuana or dagga plants.
Recently, we received a tip-off that Chamorwa Mujoa was cultivating dagga in Squat village. We reacted to the tip-off and arrived at Chamorwa Mujoa's homestead, where we found 79 plants of dagga, and we arrested the suspect and was brought to the station and further transmitted to court.
We are happy that the accused person was sentenced to 8 months imprisonment. However, I'm urging members of the public to shun from doing something which is not lawful, in particular the growing of dagga. It's a serious offense indeed. We also urge members of the public to keep on giving the police some tips of any criminal activity or any issue which pertain to criminality to the police. They can use even the suggestion boxes. They can use our WhatsApp platform we have at ZRP Rusape Central, or even informing the members of the neighborhood watch whom we have planted in all areas.
The death of young children as a result of negligence is quite regrettable. ZRP Rusape Rural attended a case of sudden death where a 3-year-old boy died as a result of negligence. We talked to Chief Inspector Doug Mochasara, who shed more light on this sad case.
On the 8th of February, at about 17:00 hours, we attended to a case of sudden death, which occurred at Machiridza village, whereby a young boy aged about 3 years was praying at an old wagon wheel, which was pressed by a tree, and suddenly that wheel, it fell on the ground, thereby trapping that young boy by the neck, and he met his death at that place. We advise the members of the public not to leave children playing on their own, but they must make sure that these children have got someone looking after them, and to remove all those things that may cause harm.
Criminal Investigations Department Rusape intelligently used information gathered from members of the public to unearth a murder case that happened more than 3 decades ago. Let us hear more.
The background is, in 1967, the now deceased Justin Nyatsanza murdered his 3 children and was arrested, taken to Blawayo High Court, where he was sentenced to life imprisonment. In 1987, the now deceased was pardoned and released. He proceeded to his uncles in Dewedzo here in Rusape. he used to say many stories which prompted his uncles to believe that he had a lot of money, and they arranged to kill him. They killed the now deceased and hid the remains of the deceased in the cave. In 2019 December, CID Rusape arrested 2 suspects, Mugauri and Manyengavana. The first accused led to the recovery of the bones of the now deceased, which were hidden in the cave. The bones were taken to a pathologist for DNA, and they are still waiting for the results. We urge members of the public to report any information regardless of triviality.
Time does not deter the police from conducting investigations, and we will commit to unearth all criminal acts. In other news, the Postal and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, POTRAZ, recently engaged the Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe for a defensive driving training program. Our crew was on the ground and filed this report.
The importance of defensive driving should cascade from corporates down to individuals. The Postal and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, POTRAZ, engaged the Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe on a training program for their employees.
The defensive driving course is a course that will teach one person to prevent accidents in spite of the incorrect actions of others or the presence of adverse driving conditions. So in the course, we look at the incorrect actions that people do on the road. You have a situation where people say, the combi driver suddenly stop in front of me. We'll teach you to anticipate that and prevent an accident, a rear-end collision. We also look at adverse driving conditions such as the light, the weather, the road, and teach the driver to drive and adjust to those conditions. In the defensive driving course, we try to do 2 things. Firstly, we provide the participants with the concepts that are used in professional accident prevention. Things such as the strategy of total traffic safety, even the standard accident prevention formula. In the standard accident prevention formula, which you apply in everyday activity, be it at home, at work, or even in sport, is you must recognize the hazard, understand the defense, and act in time. So we take that concept and apply it in day-to-day usage of the road as drivers so that we prevent accidents. Then we also look at things such as the 2-car crash, which is very common in this country and world over. In the 2-car crash, we teach them the 6 positions that the other car can have in relation to yours before an accident. So we also look at how to prevent accidents at intersections. About 40% of urban accidents occur at intersections. And then we teach the driver to understand how to prevent an intersection collision. We also look at things like the head-on collision. When a head-on is threatening, what action should you take? So there are split-second decisions that a driver must make in order to prevent a head-on collision. All those things are covered in the defensive driving course. Then at the end, we examine them. If they do well, then they are awarded with a certificate. We would like to encourage organizations and individuals to take this course. We have engaged quite a number of corporates who are now bringing in their drivers. About 30% of annual maintenance costs in organizations where training is poor, it's related to poor driving techniques by the driver. So we look at all those driving habits that are bad, and we try to make sure that the driver does not repeat those type of errors that will lead to traffic accidents.
POTRAZ, as a responsible corporate citizen, believes that we have a role to play in responsible driving. And so therefore today we are here with our staff members, all our staff members, training them on defensive driving through our partnership with Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe. We have another partnership that we have done with Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe in our Don't Phone, Text and Drive campaign, where we are encouraging drivers to use technology responsibly. And so therefore we encourage all corporates around Zimbabwe and even outside Zimbabwe to train their staff members in defensive driving so that it complements what they already have as a driver's license.
We take a short break. Join us in the third and final segment. We're in the third and final segment of Crime Watch. Addressing commissioners of police at a rebranding seminar held at the Police Golf Club in Harare, the Commissioner General of Police, Thandabantu Godwin Matanga, reiterated the importance of engaging community policing initiatives in fighting crime.
Equally important are the stakeholders in your policing areas. They are a very important facet of policing, hence the need to establish and entrench symbiotic synergies to enhance the fight against crime. We need to identify and engage them continuously in order to propagate a collective policing responsibility.
Pursuant to this call by the Commissioner General, CID Kadoma is enjoying cordial relations with this community, and recently, Crime Consultative Committee Kadoma Police Station refurbished one of the station's vehicles in a show of solidarity in fighting crime.
We set ourselves on a mission to work together and partner with the CID in Kadoma, primarily to motivate the force and assuring them that under the difficult circumstances of fighting against crime, they were not alone, and we have been there at the most moment of need. We have supported the force in terms of supporting the administration hub, in terms of supporting their patrol vehicles with services, in terms of supporting them with fuels to enable them to do patrols.
As CID Kadoma District Command, I wish to place it on record that we are enjoying a cordial working relationship with our Crime Consultative Committee. I also want to express my sincere gratitude and appreciation for the gesture or the assistance that we got from the CCC in ensuring that this motor vehicle which is behind me underwent a bit of facelifting. It had to undergo a total engine overhaul. This is going to help us in a long way in addressing the transport problems or challenges that we're experiencing. This vehicle is going to also to assist us in making local errands to ensure that we arrest outstanding accused persons. I also want to urge other members of the public to join forces with us, as is being done by the CCC in the fight against crime, by either joining the CCC or other available crime community policing initiatives such as the Business Against Crime Forum.
The ZRP continues to train its members and officers to enhance their skills and efficiency in executing their duties. Recently, Police Protection Unit held a graduation ceremony for its members who underwent a 3-week training in weapon handling, among other subjects. Officer Commanding PPU, Assistant Commissioner Musa, took time to assure members of the public that police will use their weapon handling skills for the protection of the public.
For members of the public, I want to assure them that whenever they see our officers handling whatever type of firearm, they are not reckless users of firearms. They know the do's and don'ts, and they are professionals in the art of use of those firearms. That's why they come to this range to training courses like these ones. And our trainers are the best that we can think of when we come to the art of training in the use of firearms. We train civilians, other security organizations. We are the people who train them. And for us, it means when a person has been groomed by these men and women, he becomes the real professional.
One of the graduates had this to say.
I've learned how to use weapons, which includes this AK rifle that I'm carrying. We have learned safety precautions on how to use firearms, so we won't just shoot aimlessly. We shoot professionally as we'll be doing our duties. I want to thank the CGP for sponsoring this course. It was a success.
In a show of brotherhood and good cooperation in combating crime, Zeterapi Victoria Falls District and Botswana Police Service held bilateral games in Kasane, Botswana, as part of promoting social cohesion in cementing relations.
It is important to note that the primary objective of the tournament is to cement the relationship, to promote social cohesion, share notes, maintain fitness, and thus all of us are going to be victors. My remarks will be incomplete if I do not mention our core business, that is the business of crime. As you are aware, the two districts share a common boundary, which stretches about 107 kilometers from Kazungula to Pandamatenga. Cases of housebreaking, unlawful entry into premises, and theft were a cause of concern. But however, the offences have decreased owing to the fact that we have united against cross-border criminals.
Before we come to the end of this episode, we would like to highlight some of the people who are on the police wanted list. Rhodsville Police Station is looking for Blessing Makiwa, aged 37, whose last known address is 20 Michael Road, Greendale, Harare, for a case of fraud. Elton Nzima, aged 18, of house number 59812-4, Iminyela, Bulawayo, is wanted by Western Commonwealth Police for assault. Lastly, Ngoni Chapera, aged 36, is wanted by Mutare Police Central for a case of theft. His last known address is house number 17603, Unit M, Seke, Chitungwiza. If you have information that may help in the location of any of these people, feel free to contact us on any of the following details. Our National Complaints Desk number is 0242 703 631, or visit us on our website www.zrp.gov.zw. You can also email us on feedback@zrp.gov.zw. Also link with us on our Twitter handle @PoliceZimbabwe and our Facebook page, Zimbabwe Republic Police. To those who may have missed this program, do not despair, as you can watch any of our episodes on our YouTube channel, Zimbabwe Republic Police. This brings us to the end of this week's episode. Zimbabwe Republic Police, policing for peace, economic recovery, and prosperity in the Second Republic. It has been a pleasure having you along. From me, Onesisa Sibanda, Victor Kanyaofo on the sign language desk, and the crew behind the scenes, enjoy the rest of your viewing.